everybody, welcome to ViceGrip Garage. Today I'm going to be your host because Derek is out of town for a few days, and my going to town rig has a ton of issues that...
Oh, welcome back. This week, we're diving deep into the story of a man who built an empire with nothing but grit, determination, and a wrench. Derek Bieri. Born on May 16, 1984, in Minot, North Dakota, Derek entered a world where winter wasn't just a season, it was a state of mind. Snow buried the flat fields for months. The winds cut through the farmhouse walls like knives, and the horizon seemed endless, lonely. His family's small white farmhouse stood isolated in the vast fields, and life there wasn't cushioned with luxuries. It was hard, cold, and demanding. Derek's father, a farmer through and through, worked from dawn until dusk, often through snowstorms and frozen ground, keeping the machines alive. In Minot, if something broke, you didn't throw it away, you fixed it. That lesson was etched into Derek from the start. By the time he was 3, toys weren't toys. They were puzzles to take apart, dissect, and understand. He spent hours in the barn, side by side with his father, inhaling the smell of oil, listening to metal clinks echo off wooden beams, absorbing every tiny mechanical lesson. One winter day in 1987, Derek silently dismantled his toy truck, lining screws in neat rows like his father did with tractor engines. His father didn't scold him. Instead, he nodded. That moment planted the seed of self-reliance that would define Derek's life. By age 5, he was already taking broken farm equipment and repurposing parts to make them work. One summer, handed a shattered wagon in a pile of scraps from old machinery, he spent months piecing it together, no manuals, no instructions, only persistence. By the time he reached 7, Derek had already fixed 6 separate tools, using junkyard parts and a handful of bolts. This wasn't a hobby. It was survival. Kindergarten showed hints of his uniqueness. He repaired his own bicycle chain without telling a soul. Nights were spent next to the fireplace, listening to his grandfather's wartime tales of patching military vehicles under fire, then staying up late attempting to replicate those repairs with whatever scraps he could find. One rusted 1972 farm truck became his first monumental project, 14 nights of freezing fingers and late-night lamplight work, but by the end, it ran. That first victory taught him that stubbornness and patience could turn rust into life. At age 7, Derek didn't ask for toys. He built them. A baby stroller frame became a go-kart with a leftover lawnmower engine welded into place. Less than $10, and yet it roared through the fields like a professional race car. Each project after that was bigger, stronger, more ambitious. Waste wasn't an option, everything had potential. By 13, he discovered a hidden treasure, his grandfather's old Ford truck, rusted and forgotten. Without manuals, Derek stripped rust by hand, rebuilt the distributor, replaced ignition wires, and learned firsthand that determination could bring life back to the dead. High school brought a new challenge. In 2001, Derek joined Minot High's auto shop class. While other students aimed for passing grades, Derek tore apart a 1972 Chevy Nova carburetor, documenting every bolt, sketching every part, cleaning every component meticulously. The Nova earned him straight A's, a local fair award, and regional recognition. But the real reward? Knowing he did it alone. At 16, lacking funds for new parts, Derek bought a beat-up 1985 Honda Civic for $200. Over 3 months, he replaced its transmission entirely with junkyard parts, hoisting the engine himself, improvising solutions that would have cost $800 at a professional shop. The work wasn't flawless, but it was resilient. An accident at 17, welding a scrap fender, fused his index finger to the metal. Painful and scary, yes, but it didn't stop him. It taught him caution, precision, and respect for safety, a lesson he'd never forget. After high school, Derek joined a local college program in automotive tech, mastering V8 engines bolt by bolt. But ambition took him further. He enlisted in the U.S. Army at 18. Fort Gordon, Georgia, became his new classroom, where he learned to keep satellite systems online, troubleshoot under pressure, and solve problems when failure wasn't an option. In 2004, he deployed to Iraq. During a patrol, his convoy's Humvee broke down in exposed territory. Without hesitation, Derek slid under the truck, diagnosed a fried relay, and jury-rigged a solution from scraps. That single act saved the convoy and cemented his reputation as the guy who can fix anything. Later, when an enemy stole a critical laptop controlling a transport truck, Derek used discarded parts to construct a custom wiring harness overnight. The truck ran again. His unit kept moving. Quiet commendations came, but Derek remained humble. These experiences didn't just refine his mechanical skill, they shaped a man who thrived under pressure, improvised under constraints, and remained calm when stakes were life and death. Discharged in 2007 at age 23, Derek returned home to North Dakota, armed with skills and a desire to prove himself. His first civilian project, a rusted 1969 Chevy Camaro. Every bolt cleaned, every repair done by hand in his parents' driveway. By 2008, fresh from service, he joined a Minot dealership, diving into transmissions. His early success rate hit 98%, and soon he was teaching others. By 2010, he managed 15 technicians, introducing a system of salvaged parts, reducing costs 30%, and inspiring the entire regional chain. Executives flew in to study his methods. By 2012, Derek became vice president of a Midwest parts company with $2 million in supplier contracts. He emphasized ethical sourcing and worker treatment. Employee turnover dropped 40%. In 2014, now CEO, he caught embezzlement in his company, recovered most of it, fired the culprit, and shared everything with his team. Derek wasn't just a manager, he was a protector, earning trust that would carry him into his next chapter. Through all this, Derek's anchor was Jessica, his wife since July 19, 2008. Two farm kids who understood hard work and winter hardship, they married in a backyard with 50 friends and family. Over the years, their family grew, twins Bailey and Bradley in 2010, Bentley in 2012, and a daughter in 2015. Jessica ran the home, Derek juggled work, but never missed the moments that mattered. In 2016, facing burnout, Derek leaned fully into his passion, Vice Grip Garage. What started as therapy in the garage evolved into a movement. Raw, unpolished, and real, his early videos chronicled the resurrection of classic cars with nothing but grit and minimal tools. Viewers loved it. Subscriber counts climbed. By 2018, Derek moved the family to Lewisburg, Tennessee, balancing life, work, and YouTube. Projects like a duct-taped 1972 Plymouth Duster or a barely running 1964 Ford Falcon showcased his ethos: send it. Go hard, but stay honest. Hackers, theft, and setbacks didn't deter him. His IT skills and Army discipline kept the channel alive, stronger than ever. Derek's YouTube fame skyrocketed. Sick Week events, high-profile restorations, and a TV debut on Motor Trend's roadworthy rescues brought millions of viewers. Yet, in late 2023, a near-death experience changed him forever. While freeing a rusted exhaust bolt, a jack stand slipped. 4,000 pounds of steel nearly crushed him. His 12-year-old son saw it all. Miraculously, he survived. That day reshaped Vice Grip Garage. No more corners cut, safety above all, slower but safer builds. In 2025, Derek continued pushing boundaries, teaching, building, restoring, and racing, but always with lessons in caution, innovation, and family involvement. His garage became a classroom for his children. Videos showed real life, mistakes, laughter, learning. His subscribers, now over 3 million, watched not just a man fixing cars, but a dad, a mentor, and a craftsman refusing to compromise. By 2025, Derek Bieri's net worth reached $7 million, with over 10,000 cars restored. Vice Grip Garage became a symbol of honesty, patience, and community. Yet the numbers weren't the legacy, the lessons were. Safety, persistence, and integrity. Plans for books, philanthropic projects, and racing scholarships in his hometown of Minot, North Dakota, are underway. Derek's story isn't just about cars, it's about building a life with purpose, passing wisdom to the next generation, and turning rust into gold, one bolt at a time. Derek Bieri isn't just a mechanic or YouTuber. He's the living proof that with grit, patience, honesty, and family by your side, you can build something far greater than money or fame, a life worth racing for. By late 2025, Derek wasn't just restoring old cars, he was innovating. Each project became a lesson in engineering creativity. His first purpose-built drag car, a 1970 Nova, wasn't cobbled from scraps. It was precise, methodical, and bulletproof. Reinforced frame rails, a custom roll cage, upgraded brakes, and a high-performance fuel cell demonstrated a shift. Derek wasn't chasing speed anymore, he was chasing perfection through safety and precision. The Nova hit 150 miles per hour on its first test run, a feat that left even seasoned racers in awe. Every weld was visible proof of discipline. Fans noticed. Comments poured in, admiration, questions, and requests for tutorials. Derek responded by filming step-by-step guides, sharing the engineering logic behind every modification. These videos weren't flashy, they were textbook lessons in grit and engineering, shot in the same dimly lit garage where it all started. Around the same time, he tackled an early 70s Plymouth GTX, notorious for rusted frames and tricky transmissions. Derek rebuilt the chassis using reinforced subframes, hand-fitted suspension components, and a meticulously balanced big-block engine. Weeks of meticulous work, late nights, and precise documentation culminated in a machine that ran like new, teaching his audience how planning beats improvisation every time. By 2026, Derek began thinking beyond his own builds. With his Mine, North Dakota roots, he remembered how a single mentor had changed his trajectory. He launched a mentorship program, virtually at first, guiding young mechanics from across the U.S. via Zoom and live-streamed garage sessions. Subscribers became apprentices. Derek taught them how to read wiring diagrams, diagnose stubborn engines, and even prioritize safety over speed. Kids as young as 14 began submitting videos of their own projects, inspired by his approach. Derek would comment line by line, giving praise, correction, and encouragement. It wasn't just about cars, it was about resilience, problem-solving, and confidence. Stories poured in from teenagers whose lives were changed by his guidance. Some had given up on technical school, others couldn't afford tools. Derek helped them find workarounds, teaching that passion isn't measured by budget, it's measured by persistence. While Vice Grip Garage thrived, Derek never allowed fame to overshadow family. His children, Bailey, Bradley, and Bentley, became integral to projects. Videos from 2026 onward featured them assembling parts, learning engine diagnostics, and testing safety procedures. Jessica remained a linchpin, managing logistics, organizing tools, and coordinating schedules. The family's Tennessee farm became more than home, it was a hub for workshops, local meetups, and charity builds. Derek organized annual Rust to Riches events, where old cars were restored and auctioned for local schools, scholarships, and community programs. Fans were no longer just viewers, they became collaborators. People donated parts, offered advice, or participated in community garage days, where Derek taught restoration techniques to anyone willing to learn. His influence wasn't just online, it was tangible, impacting families and aspiring mechanics in real-world ways. Even with success, challenges persisted. In early 2026, a critical engine donor ceased mid-installation. Most would have abandoned the project. Derek didn't. He improvised, rebuilding the carburetor, custom-fitting the transmission, and repurposing old farm equipment into an emergency engine stand. The result, a functioning car and a viral tutorial teaching resilience and problem-solving under pressure. Later that year, during prep for another sick week, a turbocharged engine failed during testing. Derek live-streamed every step of the diagnostic process, explaining failure points, alternatives, and safety measures. 50,000 fans tuned in, witnessing the blend of failure and mastery. The incident reinforced his mantra, it's not about going fast, it's about going smart. Through these challenges, Derek remained consistent, he refused shortcuts, prioritized education, and documented every lesson for his community. By 2026, Derek's reputation had reached media outlets beyond YouTube. Automotive magazines featured his builds. Podcasts invited him to discuss engineering, safety, and innovation. TV networks sought collaborations, but Derek maintained independence. He began publishing how-to guides, safety manuals, and technical blueprints, turning Vice Grip Garage into a knowledge hub. His subscribers learned more than car restoration, they absorbed engineering thinking, precision work, and ethical decision-making. He also began speaking at high schools and technical colleges, emphasizing career paths in mechanical engineering, fabrication, and restoration, encouraging young people to pursue trades often overlooked in traditional education systems. Looking ahead, Derek's vision extended far beyond cars. Scholarships for aspiring mechanics, community workshops, and a full-fledged Vice Grip Garage Academy were in development. He envisioned a network where youth could learn, innovate, and thrive, without the barriers he once faced in North Dakota. On the racing front, Derek planned to push boundaries with a twin-turbo Falcon, aiming for sub-9-second runs while documenting every safety procedure. Earnings would funnel back into scholarships and community projects, ensuring that every milestone supported others' growth. Even as fame and wealth grew, $7 million net worth, 3+ million subscribers, countless restorations, Derek emphasized that success was measured not by numbers, but by impact, integrity, and family legacy. Derek Bieri's story isn't just about cars. It's about grit in the face of adversity, resilience through near-death experiences, and the transformation of passion into purpose. From a frozen North Dakota farm to a thriving Tennessee garage, from a military tech specialist to a YouTube sensation, he's proven that honesty, patience, and ingenuity can turn rust into gold. He shows that real mastery isn't flashy, it's consistent, meticulous, and grounded in ethics. Family, safety, and community remain at the heart of every project. The man who almost lost his life under a car in 2023 now inspires thousands, passing lessons on tools, engineering, and life itself. Derek Bieri is more than a mechanic. He's a mentor, a father, a visionary, and proof that true legacy is built one bolt, one lesson, and one life at a time. By 2026 to 2027, Derek's influence wasn't confined to Tennessee or North Dakota. Vice Grip Garage had gained international attention. Automotive enthusiasts from Europe, Asia, and Australia reached out, sharing their own restoration challenges and asking for guidance. Derek began collaborating remotely with international mechanics, creating a network of global car restorers. These collaborations weren't about fame, they were about sharing knowledge, exchanging techniques, and problem-solving across borders. A video series documenting these global builds drew millions of views, showing cars from barns in Sweden, Italy, and Japan revived with Derek's guidance. Fans and professionals alike praised his approach, real tools, real lessons, and practical ingenuity. Even seasoned mechanics admitted they learned tricks from a man who never took shortcuts, never used flashy effects, and never compromised safety. By late 2027, Derek began integrating modern tech into classic builds. From custom ECU tuning to basic telemetry, he explored ways to enhance performance without losing the raw mechanical essence of the cars. One project involved a 1971 Chevelle upgraded with a mild hybrid system, not for speed, but for reliability and efficiency. Fans watched as Derek meticulously retrofitted wiring, tested sensors, and adjusted fuel delivery, all live-streamed with detailed explanations. He also started experimenting with 3D printed parts for rare or impossible-to-find components. Each innovation balanced tradition with progress, demonstrating that respecting a machine's original design didn't mean ignoring modern tools. Life wasn't all engines and garages. By 2027, Derek's children were growing into their own mechanics in training. Bailey and Bradley, now teenagers, began leading mini projects under Derek's supervision, while Bentley and the youngest daughter became active in organization, tool prep, and documentation. Family moments became content too, not staged, but genuine life lessons. Morning breakfasts with oil-stained hands, late-night troubleshooting, and laughter-filled failures painted a picture of a household grounded in teamwork, responsibility, and connection. Jessica continued to anchor the family, expanding her homeschooling curriculum to include mechanical basics, problem-solving, and ethics, preparing the next generation for challenges both on and off the track. Recognizing the growing demand for structured learning, Derek began developing the Vice Grip Academy in 2027. It was designed to teach young mechanics, hobbyists, and professionals the complete restoration process, from dismantling engines to welding frames, from safety protocols to troubleshooting electrical systems. The academy wasn't online only. Derek hosted hands-on workshops at the Tennessee farm, bringing in small groups for intensive, week-long projects. Apprentices learned not just to rebuild cars, but to think critically, work efficiently, and innovate under constraints. Scholarships and grants ensured underprivileged youth could participate, honoring Derek's own roots in a family that had limited means but unlimited ingenuity. Even with global fame and a growing empire, Derek faced new obstacles. In early 2028, a major supplier unexpectedly went bankrupt, leaving a shipment of critical parts missing just weeks before a sick week event. While others panicked, Derek improvised, scavenged parts, custom-fabricated replacements, and adapted his build plan in real time. The car performed flawlessly at the event, and his audience learned a powerful lesson: resilience isn't about avoiding problems, it's about solving them calmly, creatively, and thoroughly. Later that year, Vice Grip Garage's YouTube channel faced a copyright strike on a high-performing video. Derek documented the appeal process live, showing transparency, integrity, and digital literacy, turning a potential disaster into another teaching moment for his followers. Derek began to realize his impact went beyond engines. He started speaking at schools, tech conferences, and community centers, emphasizing life lessons from the garage: patience, precision, ethical decision-making, and innovation. He partnered with tool manufacturers, local governments, and STEM programs to create programs encouraging youth to pursue technical trades. Derek's philosophy was simple: knowledge shared is power multiplied. Fans began sending in letters and emails describing how Derek's lessons inspired career changes, renewed confidence, and problem-solving skills. From a quiet garage in Tennessee, his influence had grown global, transformative, and deeply personal. By 2030, Derek's reputation on YouTube and in the restoration community opened doors to international racing events. He received invitations to participate in European drag races, Australia's classic car festivals, and even Japanese endurance challenges. Derek saw these races not as competitions, but as learning experiences. Every track brought new engineering challenges, climate variations, tire degradation, and track-specific stress on old frames. Each car he prepped for international travel, from a 1970 Chevelle to a 1969 Mustang, was carefully reinforced for safety, reliability, and performance. Fans worldwide followed live streams of Derek navigating foreign regulations, shipping mishaps, and logistical nightmares, gaining lessons in both mechanics and strategy. By the end of the year, he had successfully competed in 4 international events, building credibility not just as a mechanic, but as a strategic and resilient competitor. Every innovation was documented, analyzed, and shared with his audience. Derek emphasized learning from experimentation. If something failed, he dissected it live, showing exactly why and how to correct it. By 2031, Vice Grip Garage became a hub for hybrid classic cars, advanced rebuild techniques, and cutting-edge garage engineering, attracting hobbyists, professional mechanics, and engineering students alike. By 2031, Derek's children were fully integrated into Vice Grip projects. Bailey and Bradley, now young adults, began leading independent restoration projects, teaching live-streamed classes with their father guiding in the background. Bentley and the youngest daughter took over organization, documentation, and project coordination, showing that Derek's philosophy of hands-on experience with responsibility was a family legacy. Jessica remained the glue, managing logistics, education, and communication between fans, students, and collaborators. Family milestones, weddings, birthdays, graduations, were occasionally shared with the audience, reinforcing the community-driven, human aspect of Vice Grip Garage. By 2033, Derek's influence extended into formal mentorship networks. Past Vice Grip Academy graduates became instructors themselves, spreading the philosophy of safe, intelligent, and ethical restoration worldwide. Derek emphasized intergenerational learning, showing that the lessons he learned from his father and grandfather weren't just mechanical, they were life lessons in perseverance, ingenuity, and responsibility. This community-driven model ensured that Vice Grip Garage wasn't just a brand, it was a movement. By 2035, Derek Bieri had evolved Vice Grip Garage into more than a restoration channel. It had become a laboratory of innovation, blending classic car craftsmanship with modern engineering. His viewers watched in awe as he tackled projects like a 1972 Camaro fitted with a hybrid electric powertrain, carefully retaining the soul of the machine while improving efficiency and reliability. Unlike flashy YouTube tech channels, Derek emphasized hands-on precision. Each modification was explained step by step, teaching viewers, a car isn't just bolts and metal, it's a puzzle of physics, patience, and foresight. He integrated telemetry systems to monitor engine performance, experimenting with modern diagnostics while preserving the tactile, mechanical knowledge he had spent decades mastering. Even the most skeptical traditionalists had to admit, Derek was bridging two worlds, classic tradition and modern engineering, proving that respect for a machine's heritage didn't preclude innovation. Derek's influence went global. By 2035, the Vice Grip Academy had grown into an international mentorship program. Students from Europe, Asia, and South America enrolled in virtual and in-person classes, learning advanced engine diagnostics, frame reinforcement, welding, and electrical system retrofits. Derek often reminded them, a skilled mechanic is also a problem solver, a thinker, and a teacher. He encouraged students to document failures, to understand mistakes, and to rebuild intelligently. By doing so, Derek was creating a network of independent, innovative restorers who could solve complex automotive problems anywhere in the world. Apprentices often returned to Tennessee for intensive workshops, helping Derek with large-scale projects while gaining real-world experience. The farm became an international hub of automotive education, buzzing with creativity, learning, and collaboration. By 2036, Derek's children were no longer assistants, they were co-leaders in the Vice Grip operation. Bailey and Bradley oversaw engine rebuilds, Bentley handled fabrication projects, and the youngest daughter managed digital documentation and social outreach. Jessica remained the anchor, coordinating logistics and ensuring balance between work and family life. Derek often filmed them in the garage, not as props, but as active participants. Audiences loved seeing the Bieri family dynamics in action, children learning patience, problem-solving, and mechanical skill firsthand. The philosophy Derek instilled was clear: restoration is not just about cars, it's about preparing for life. Every project became a lesson in teamwork, ethics, and ingenuity. In 2036, Derek took on one of his most ambitious projects yet, a 1965 Ford Mustang Fastback, rusted beyond repair. Fans watched as he documented every step, from stripping the car to its bare frame, rebuilding the engine from scratch, and reinforcing the chassis with modern safety measures. Every obstacle became a teaching moment: rusted bolts, warped panels, and electrical short circuits were addressed in real time, with Derek narrating his thought process. The result was a car that looked authentic yet road-ready, demonstrating that budget restorations could rival million-dollar projects in quality, safety, and ingenuity. This project became a watershed moment for Vice Grip Garage, pushing subscriber numbers past 4 million and solidifying Derek's reputation as a master of authenticity in education. While restoration remained the backbone, Derek didn't abandon his love of performance. By 2037, he had begun purpose-built drag and endurance racing, designing cars like a 1970 Chevelle with a reinforced chassis and hybrid-assisted V8 for sick week competitions. Fans followed the process closely. Derek live-streamed every mechanical decision, every safety check, and every test run. Failures were celebrated as much as successes, each mishap was a lesson in resilience and adaptation. Simultaneously, Derek maintained community engagement. Annual Vice Grip Garage meetups and Rust to Riches charity builds brought enthusiasts together. Old cars were restored, sold, and auctioned to fund scholarships and community programs. The farm was no longer just a home, it was a center for learning, racing, and mentorship. These documentaries, unlike conventional car shows, focused on education, narrative, and authenticity. They attracted an audience beyond car enthusiasts. Students, educators, and mechanical engineers tuned in to learn from Derek's unique combination of practical skill, strategic thinking, and resilience. Even at this peak, challenges persisted. In early 2038, a critical shipment of rare engine components was lost during international shipping. Most would have canceled the project. Derek improvised, custom-fabricated parts, recycled materials, and strategic adjustments allowed him to complete the build on time. Later that year, a high-tech electric retrofitted engine failed mid-test. Derek live-streamed diagnostics, problem-solving, and final adjustments, turning a potential disaster into a global teaching moment. Fans didn't just watch, they learned, adapted, and applied his lessons in their own garages.